I would like to welcome everyone today to another in the Horizon to TEO video tutorial series. My name is Sean Roberts. I am the TEO support lead at this current time. We will currently look at the configuration of Horizon versus the configuration of TEO, specifically in looking at monitor systems versus targets, parameters versus global variables, and then the database notification versus their components in TEO. Currently looking at the Horizon server we are in Horizon 195. We'll be looking at TEO 2.1. Here you have your standard SAP systems that you would have entered with your add monitor system, or you could have added them here. And here I've got a server called QX2. It is an XI system with an Java app server attached, as well as an ABAP stack, and then it has a Oracle database. So we've done it here before, we know how to do this, so now we're going to go over into TEO and input those. As a side note to this presentation, we will be limiting the clips to about 10 minutes each, so when they run longer we will segment these sessions up, and you'll be able to find those in the TEO community portal. Here we want to go to the definitions tab in TEO in the master UI, master console, and find the targets area. Now under targets you can either right click in the space, or you can right click on targets itself and go to new, and then here we have SAP system. Okay, now you can create a database separately, as we can see, a DB2 or Oracle, but to create an ABAP or Java connection you have to do it from this wizard. So we click SAP system, and then we have our wizard here, and then we're doing a demo on QX2, and we want to check whichever ones we're doing. Of course, if you want to monitor a database, you have to have the ABAP stack as well. You can't monitor the database only. And then we have monitor production system checked, just like in Horizon. This gives you the most monitoring. If you want to monitor a test system, you would uncheck that. Unchecking it is the same, basically as doing test development in Horizon. We're now going to connect. We can connect via application server or login group. If this case, we're going to do an application server. And with a runtime user, we can do a new user if we want to. This is the same as your connection user in Horizon, same definition. It's a standard ABAP definition here, username, password, and a client, whichever ABAP client you're connecting to. In this case, I've already defined a bunch of runtime users. You can do so in the runtime users on the left-hand side. Looking here, we're going to use sroberts 001. Click Next. And then we will see what servers are available for monitoring, and you can check and add as needed. Click Next. The next part of the wizard is going to take us to the database. We already told it, or it already knows it's an Oracle because this was on the box. So the database source in this case is qx2.world. And the runtime user, again, is already defined. I've got a system user, so I will click Next. And then now it says, okay, now we've done those two. Those have checked out for good, and now we have to do the Java connection. So we're going to do a new Java connection. We're going to call this UX5, which is the name of that particular Java connector. And we're going to use the J2EE admin. We'll just monitor as a portal. You can do central instance monitoring as well as telnet connections if you want. But this case we're only going to use this one. And so we clicked Finished, and it looks good. And it took it, and so we'll click Next. And now is going to basically complete configuration of the entire QX2 SAP system, which is the ABAP connection, the Java connection, and the database connection. So we click Finish. And let TEO do its processing. And this will basically give you the ability to not only to monitor all three of these components, these three targets, but also execute corrective actions and different processes against these three targets. You can enable and disable these targets directly from the UI. via right-click, enable, disable. But you can also use, we also have a command line interface you can use. So here we see that they've been set up. As I said before, if you wanted to, you can right-click and enable, disable right here. If you do disable this, if you disable the SAP system perspective, it will come and it will disable the associative connection. So if we click disable once, it will take care of everything instead of having to go through and disable the ABAP connection, disable the Java connection, etc. So here, and everything is now disabled. So what we'll do is I'm going to re-enable it. One thing to check, if you are curious about, how my system is doing or why I can't reach my system, your status should always be normal. If your status ever goes to unreachable or has a red error, that means there's some kind of issue, most likely in username or password, or in the connection string as far as the connection goes. So it should always be normal. So you see these are green, normal. This SAP system right here is green, normal. And when these come back up, they'll all be, as you see, green, normal. Now, as a side note, if you go over to the Administration tab and go to Adapters, this system is pre-configured. However, when you are configuring your system, you will need to add some additional components. For SAP ABAP, if you right-click on the ABAP adapter, and this is for any adapter, and you go to the prerequisites, you'll be able to see what prerequisites are required. We do require the lib rfc32.dll version 7100.2.92 or later. You have to basically install the SAP GUI client on your TIA app server, so we can use that DLL. We do not provide that DLL as it doesn't belong to us. Same thing for if you're using Oracle. You have to store the Oracle client or DB2. It's also DB2 client. It's just the client. It's not the actual database itself. Java is a little different. In the Java adapter, you have to have two major things. You have to have, of course, Java 1.6, which you should already have when installing the application. But secondarily, you have to have the Java files. So what you do is you need to come to the install directory. If you're first doing this for the first time, so if you come to install directory and you run this file, title.automation.sapjar install.exe, and then here you run the check button, and it will tell you if you have them installed or not. I already have them installed because I did this pre-setup. But if you don't have them installed, then you click this install button will light up. You click it, and you can tell it if you want 6470 only, 7.10 only, or both, and then it'll take you through a little wizard where you will import those files. Those files should be located on the SAP install CD. And once you have that, and these two shields are green, then you're fully good for SAP. Again, like for instance, we had an Oracle database. This one, I had to install the Oracle client, so I've got a green shield. If you have a red shield, that means that adapter will not work as currently configured. If you have a yellow shield, that means that most of the things will work, but they will not do everything that is possible. So we are going to stop here for segment 1. Segment 2, we will pick up